So now that we know how to set up the friction, we are going to go to engine. And for this part, I created just an empty map and added few simple objects in it. And the reason for this is because it takes a bit of time uh, to play the matrix level in the editor. So for a faster iteration, we are going to do this in an empty level where we can just instantly click play and be in the game. So I created this level by just clicking right click and then level. It was completely empty, so I went into window, environment light mixer, and in here up here you would see all the different lights in atmosphere and stuff like that, the clouds to create. So you just need to click create on everything. I just did not create atmospheric light 1, but I did create atmospheric light. So yeah, that's a quick way to just set up all of the lighting in the scene. I basically did not change anything for the lighting except angle for this light, so it's a bit more to the side instead of directly down. So yeah, that's about it for the light. Next thing, I just took a plane and scaled it to 1000, so you can get all of the basic shapes in here. So I just took a plane, scale it up. I also added some texture in the plane because when it's pure white, if you don't have any object or a reference to kind of for your eyes to calculate the distance, it's kind of hard to figure out how fast you're going if I'm just riding along this line. So that's why I just add some texture. And for this, I just used Quixel Bridge. So I opened the Quixel Bridge, found the damaged asphalt texture, imported it in my project, and just set tiling to 800, since it would be a really low resolution since my object is also tiled. And yeah, I also added these objects and just changed the material a bit to some random one that I found, and set up some testing stuff. So we have this for the wheels, and then we have this to kind of ramp up and jump with the car. So this is the basic setup. And in this video, we're going to go over the engine setup. And yeah, one last thing is you need to put the car in the scene and then type possess and set it to player 0. So when you click play, the game knows that you want to control this car when the game starts. Yeah, and that should be it. So let me save this. Let's open up our blueprints. So here is kind of my setup, and let me first play to show you what I did in here. So let's click play. I changed friction a bit, I changed some engine setup so we can kind of get our max speed, and we can see we kind of have control even if our car is sliding. So I tried to kind of make it feel nice. Before it was a bit too slippery and the speed was a bit too slow, or acceleration was too slow. So now this is how it feels. And I like this way more, so we have more control when we are going around, and we can also brake nicely. So yeah, let's go into details on how I managed that. So we won't focus on everything, so I also want to fix steering on this car and maybe some more details about the engine, but we're going to go over overall setup of this. So first what I did is for our front and back wheel, I just changed friction, which we did in previous tutorial video, but in this one I also just adjusted it so we can kind of have appropriate friction force. And I found 4 to be nice for front and back. At first I wanted to set the friction on the back wheels a bit higher, but I also like the friction on the front wheels so we can kind of have some control over turning. If I put this too high, we will kind of turn instantly, have full control, which I don't really like for this car. So yeah, this is kind of the middle ground. And I like this option for both wheels. So that's about it for friction. Next, in engine, you have few important things. You have your max RPM, so this will basically kind of the max speed of your car. Then you have your max torque. This is kind of how fast your wheels will be turning, how fast you'll be gaining speed. And then you have your torque curve, which basically multiplies with this over time. So if, let's say, you're just starting up the car, you might start a bit slow, then at the middle you might be gaining or accelerating the fastest, but then when you go to some higher speed, you will start accelerating slower. And let's actually look this in the game. So you can see I start kind of slow, but now I'm gaining speed way faster. We also have the change of the gears. And now when I go into even higher speeds, I should be gaining slower and slower speeds. So we can see how slowly it goes until we fall off the map. And this curve needs to be set up to go appropriately with RPM, so 7000. And then you have your value, which is starting is usually 400, then you go up. And actually we could put this even more up, but yeah, I think 400 is fine. But let's say we set this to 400, we should see slower acceleration towards the middle. So you can see how it takes way more time to gain the speed that we gained the last time. So that is kind of the point in here. Let's find this and set it to 800. You can of course play around with this and see what value fits you. So let's put it like this. And the two things mainly that I changed is max torque. So it was accelerating slow and the max speed was not something that I liked. So if you put this to 20,000 and let's say this to 1,000, we should gain some huge speeds. But also our torque. Okay, yeah, so we are gaining speed now. And our torque is also a bit not adjusted for this, but we are still gaining a lot of speed. But for this, our torque curve also need to be adjusted, so this needs to be 20,000. So we will put this to 20,000. And then we will put this to 1,000. And also 1,000. And in the middle we want this to be maybe 2,000. Something like that. And we also have our gears that we don't set up, so it kind of throttles us, but we can see the gain now. So yeah, everything kind of works together, but these few are kind of the main ones. So let's bring everything back. So we want this to 7,000, we want to do this to 600. Let's put this to 400. And this to 800. Or my bad, we need this one. Oh, we did not change this. Okay, now we should be fine. So yeah, that's the main things that we want. We also have our speed up of the RPM and slow down of the RPM, which we won't touch for now, but I also increased this a bit to 20. And you also have your differential type. So what type of car is this? How does this car drive? So you want front wheel drive. So now we can kind of have nicer control. So this is kind of the general option that will affect everything. So this is something that you should set up in the beginning. And then you have your transmissions where you can set up your gears, but we won't go over this since this gets a bit more complicated.